Hello, everyone. Please bear in mind that what I'm about to say is my own opinion and should not be construed as financial advice. So, I'd like to talk about financial independence, and I've given you the definition right there. And I'm going to talk about some ways to change your thinking, some ways to think about financial independence that might help you make better decisions in your life if financial independence is your goal. And just to be clear, I'm defining an asset as anything that generates passive income that also requires no work from you. So let's talk about you. You currently make $50,000 a year after taxes. You spend $30,000 a year on rent and other expenses, and you're investing $20,000 a year in some asset where your expected return, your expected growth rate is 2% per year. When can you expect to become financially independent, and how can you figure that out? Well, as defined, we need our assets to be big enough so that just the growth from the assets is equal to our expenses. So that's going to be expenses divided by expected return. And so we need $1.5 million. And it's going to take us 75 years before we get there. Now, that might make you feel a bit sad, but understand that this calculation is very simplistic. It's not very precise. And I'm leaving out the fact that over time, your income is likely to grow, and maybe 2% is a little bit conservative for a growth rate. Okay, but we've got a number. We've got 75 years. Maybe we'll live that long. Maybe we won't, but it's a number. It's a start. Now, what can we do to change these numbers? Well, we can change our net income by getting a new job, right? We could get a different job. We could pick up a second job. And if we increase our net income, and at the same time, because I didn't use net income in my calculation, and at the same time we increase the amount that we're investing, then we're going to become financially independent much quicker. We could also reduce our expenses. Drop that by 5,000 and then instead invest that money. Dropping our expenses is also a good way to reduce the time to become financially independent. How could we increase this number? Well, we can increase this number by making smarter investments. It's not a simple task to make smarter investments, but I do believe it is a skill that can be grown over time. It is something that can be learned, but it does take a lot of time and effort, and it's an investment. But let's say we do, and we could instead earn 3%, or 4%, or 5%. Then we can drastically reduce the amount of time it'll take us to become financially independent, assuming that once we have this $600,000 in assets, for example, assuming that we can maintain this 5% rate of return. And okay, everything's back to how it was. Now, let's talk about a common scenario. You just got a promotion. And paste it in here. You just got a promotion. You're going to be making $55,000 a year now. And you're going to responsibly start investing that extra $5,000 a year. What does that mean for your years until financial independence? Oh, you just made 15 years. You're 15 years closer now. Fantastic. One thing that most people do, though, when they get a promotion is they think, I'm $5,000 richer. I'm $5,000 more important of a person. I should treat myself. I should start spending more money. I should upgrade my house. I should get buy the latest World of Warcraft expansion, all of these things, and so their expenses go up, and they, in fact, don't increase the amount they invest. They leave it the same. And what happens? The person is actually making backwards progress. As their standards of living increase, they're getting further and further away from financial independence. This is something you should bear in mind. Okay, but yes, we're back to the responsible promotion. Cool. And now, here's another common scenario. You could stay at your current company and hope for a promotion, but there's this new company opening up in some coastal city, and they're offering you a huge chunk of change. Right? They're offering you $70K a year. That is a huge increase from $50K, especially when you know your next promotion is only going to bump you up by $5,000. But it comes with the side effect that, yes, you're going to be spending a bit more money on rent because it's in a coastal city, but you're going to responsibly increase the amount you're investing. So clearly, this new job offer is the smarter choice, right? Well, you do the math. And you might be shocked to find out that if you take the new job over your promotion, the new job is actually the inferior proposition because of the huge increase in your expenses, your huge increase in your standard of living, even though chances are you might actually be getting a smaller apartment at the end of the day, but that's a whole nother issue. And of course, this is assuming that you stay at your new job and you stay at these expenses for the foreseeable future, which I think is what people tend to do because people generally tend to increase their expenses over time because they want a better standard of living and they just become used to spending all this money all the time rather than trying to reduce their expenses. So, in summary, if you want to achieve financial independence earlier, you should just do some math and see exactly how long it's going to take you and how your decisions might be impacting how long you're going to wait to become financially independent.